Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Everyday Heroes podcast. Today, we'll be discussing the importance of blue light and blue light glasses and how they can affect our children's sleep, mood, and so much more. We'll be joined by Sam Nahna, who's someone who's an expert regarding the company BlockBlueLight. The company was originally created by Daniel Ebbett in 2016, and he was in the midst of struggling with chronic insomnia and migraines and discovered the connection between blue light and circadian rhythms. And as well, sleep, right? Let's be honest. We are surrounded by technology, guys, and our children are on iPads, iPhones, they're on screens all the time. So I'm so excited to be jumping into this conversation with Sam. Welcome to the show, Sam. How are you going?
Yeah, good. Thank you. Good to be on the show. Thanks for having me. This is. I'm looking forward to the discussion. Like you said, it's a topic that is becoming more prevalent in this day and age, and with technology growing as we progress, it's definitely something that's going to become a lot more prevalent in people's lives. So yeah, good to be here.
Thank you. It's so true. So I bought my first blue light glasses, I reckon back when COVID first started. Right, we're at home a lot, watching a lot of TV, probably a bit too much on the screens, a bit too much. And they have been like a lifesaver. The times that I don't wear my blue blocker glasses are the times when I struggle to sleep. It's the times when I don't really go into that deep sleep that I would really want. And it was just more recently that I actually purchased blue blocker glasses for my children. And it's been a game changer because they actively seek out the glasses, especially when not so much during the summertime, because by the time the sun's going down, they're usually in bed anyway. But in the wintertime, when the sun is going down so early, they're seeking them out and they know, right? Like, we're going to put those glasses on. We've got to make sure that we're going to watch a movie. This is how it goes. And so I want to share, I love what you guys are doing. And I really want to be able to share with everyone why these glasses are so important. So can you just tell us a little bit about what is blue light? Like how I don't understand, like if people don't know, how is it coming? How does it work? And how does it affect our sleep?
Absolutely. Yeah, no, absolutely. More than happy to talk through that. So essentially when you hear the term blue light, instantly you think of the color blue because that's, it's got the name in it, but that's not necessarily true or the case. Blue light is like I've just got some notes here. It's like a high energy spectrum light. So it's almost essentially like the white light that we get from real high harsh fluorescent lighting, the light like almost the backlight from your screen, like from any screens, from TV, your phones, laptops, iPads, Kindles, the lot of it. It's the light that we can't see, but it's a very high frequency, high vibrating light that is like stimulating our brain. And it is a good light. It's not a bad light. It's the same light that we get. We get natural blue light from the sun. And that's what basically regulates like humans' energies and, your body clock and all that kind of stuff. And so essentially what blue light glasses are doing is you're wanting to filter or block out those, stimulating wavelengths at times when you're not wanting to be exposed to them, to help regulate your body's circadian rhythm and clock, which will help with your sleep in the evening. So yeah. So again, sorry, just to recap, blue light isn't necessarily just the blue. It's like sort of any of that white light that you're getting from like, our electronic devices, laptops, TVs, fluorescent lighting in offices, supermarkets, all that kind of stuff.
I never thought about the fluorescent lighting. I didn't even think that
it's a big one. It's a big one in the offices. People, it's a big one.
Right. Okay. So explain to our viewers and listeners, how do the blue light glasses actually work? Like, and I know a lot of people are thinking, well, they must be blue, but I actually have a pair right here, my trusty pair, that has been like beated and bashed all the time, but they're actually red glasses. Can you see that? They're red glasses. They're not actually blue glasses, which a lot of people would think that they might be having a shade of blue, but they're actually red. So please just tell us, what do they do and how are they so effective?
Absolutely, yeah. And even the pair I've got on now are blue light glasses, but again, they're not red or, like you've said, these are clear. So I can definitely speak to that. So we have there's four different lenses that we offer. We have two for during the day and two for in the evening. I'll speak to the evening ones first because that's essentially where it's sort of, the main focus is for our glasses. So in the evening, basically how it works is once the sun is setting, there's our natural blue light going away. our bodies are going to naturally start to wind down to go to sleep. But as we know in this day and age, there's a lot of technology, a lot of screens in the evening. So that is essentially what's keeping us awake at night and our body's alerted, because we've got all this blue light in our face and it's sending signals to our brain, basically telling it it's still daytime, essentially, when we're surrounded by all these screens and lighting. And so basically what the lenses are designed to do, we have two evening lenses. There's an amber lens, the sundown amber, and our nightfall red lens. So you'll notice, like you say, I think you might have the nightfall red based on from what I can see. The technology is built within the lens, so we use a specific we use an optics partner who are based in the UK, and basically they help us design our lenses to our certain specifications. And they use, so for the red, they use like a red pigment that is, in the lens. It's not like a coating or a spray or anything like that. It's actually within the lens itself. And what that's doing is that's blocking wavelengths, like blue light wavelengths, and I think some green light wavelengths as well. So essentially you're blocking 100% of blue and green light with those glasses that you have there. And that's sort of the top of the range, top blocking, top effectiveness that you would want in the evening. And so, yeah, so essentially that's blocking off all blue light that is being sent to your brain to keeping those signals that it's still awake. And so it's helping your body prepare for sleep because no blue light's going through to your eyes. And again, with the amber, basically the amber is the same as the red, except the only difference is it's essentially they're not as I don't want to say not as powerful. They're just, the red lenses are for the real hard out biohackers that, are real, quite intense. So how we like to normally set it up is once the sun is set, opt for your amber lenses because they're really good for still allowing some color perception. So if there's people, mums still want to be cooking, or they might be doing an activity, playing with the kids, or, doing some reading, you still want to be able to have some sort of good vision. The red ones are good. But sometimes, everyone's different, right? Some people find that the vision's a bit hard because it's quite an intense blocking, because it is blocks out all light essentially. So the amber ones are good if you're still doing a few early evening activities, and then once you're maybe about 1 to 2 hours out from going to full, when you're going to sleep. So if you're oh, my bedtime's at 10, around 8 o'clock, 8:30, you could switch to the red lenses to really solidify that blue light blocking. But essentially, yeah, the amber ones are good. What we would probably recommend for every day, people just wanting to dip their toes maybe in the water, see what it's like. But our true real biohackers, real into it, will go. They'll probably opt for 4 pairs. They'll get a screen time pair, a day max pair, which I can speak to soon. But they'll definitely get 2 evening pairs, because they'll start off with the amber in their early evening sort of routine, and then once they get close to bedtime, they'll basically put on the red ones, and that's almost like an accelerator for your brain to prepare for sleep.
Yeah, so when I purchase them, I usually use them at nighttime once the sun's gone down. If I'm watching TV, if I'm on my phone, that's where I'm going to wear them. I'm not usually wearing them during the day. I'm not wearing them when I'm cooking or anything like that.
Yeah. And on that, sorry to interrupt, but on that, we wouldn't recommend, and that's actually a really important point. We wouldn't recommend wearing the nighttime glasses, the night lenses, during the day, because you're essentially cutting out any blue light, which you need for motivation and energy throughout the day, So I was saying before, blue light is good for you, but it's just about, those times when we want to be exposed to it and when we don't want to be exposed to it.
So the way I liken it, and correct me if I'm wrong about this, but I heard that the blue light glasses are essentially, if you go back to caveman days, when obviously there was no electricity, and they would put the fire on, and the red from the fire would indicate to your brain, okay, it's getting time for sleep, right? So the redness of what's going on with the fire. Now, I don't know if I just misread that or made that up, but that's what I heard. And so is that on the same sort of wavelength or not really?
You're kind of on the right track there, because that ties into sort of how we offer, our amber lighting and our red lighting, right? Because that's blue light free. With the whole the fire thing, again, it's very minimal blue light in there because of the color that is being emitted. But there is some there is a tiny little bit of it, just because it's sort of a natural light, whereas devices and that, they're very specific on the wavelengths that are being emitted. But yeah, you are essentially right in what you're saying, like that sort of that redness and the amber, with that the minimal amount of blue light is, helping our brain, relax and prepare for sleep because there's minimal blue light being emitted. So
love that so much. So can you just tell our listeners the ones that you're wearing right now, they're clear ones. So are they ones for just for the daytime?
Correct. So these ones that I'm wearing now are clear lenses. These are called like our screen time lenses. So a lot of people that are, on computers all day, 8-hour day office jobs, will opt for these ones. And so these ones filter 50% across the blue light spectrum. So when I first started working, it's quite funny actually, because you don't really notice until you try them, right? So when I first started, it was kind of just like normal. And then Dan was like, oh, you want to try it up, try out our product, see what it's like. And I was like, okay, give it a go. And honestly, it's kind of hard to explain, but it's almost like you can notice there's just not that harshness from the white light of your laptop or your screen when you've got them on. And you can still make out all the colors. It's not like, the colors don't change or anything, but it's just, it takes off that like bit of a harsh edge that can be there, especially, when you're first thing in the morning in an office, turn on your screen, all the lights, and you're like, oh, it's a bit bright. It's a bit too much. So
it's so true.
Yeah, it is, right? Yeah. So the screen, they just make your eyes feel just relaxed and nice, and they're not like strained or overworking or anything like that. So, and then we have like our yellow lens, which unfortunately, sorry, I don't have a pair with me at the moment. But essentially they are a yellow. The easiest way, it's not like it's easiest way is just like a clear yellow lens. And those ones are, those ones are 70% blocking of 70% of blue light filtering. Sorry, not blocking. But the difference is there's a specific wavelength deep between and within the blue light spectrum that it actually blocks 100% of, which is a key feature for the Daymax lens because it's blocking 100% of a blue light that's very high stimulating that you don't want to be exposed to. So it filters 70% across the whole blue light spectrum, but it blocks this like one wavelength that's right at the peak of the blue light in there. So that's why the Daymax ones are really good. Again, people that are really, biohackers hard out into it would probably opt for the Daymax lens yellow one because, they want the best that they can get. But for someone that's just, wanting to maybe just test the waters, start it out, the clear one is a really good one to just begin with. And you can see the difference, you do notice the difference right away.
And so are the yellow lenses, the amber lenses, and the clear ones, are they okay for children to wear as well?
Absolutely, yeah. So all our glasses, we've got lens options available for we've got the kids options and like the clear, the yellow, the amber, and the red. Yeah, absolutely. We have found in the past with some, just from feedback from different parents and things like that, kids aren't always, and it varies depending on the child. But some kids aren't, as open to the red lenses as the amber ones because they find the red ones quite, I don't know, scary, harsh. It can be a number of different reasons. But like I was saying before, the amber ones are, perfectly fine as well. They're still blocking 100% of the blue light, which is the main goal at the end of the day in the evening. So yeah.
I love that so much. I think I can understand from a sensory point of view that they might find it quite overwhelming.
Because as soon as you put it on, it's like red. Everything is red. It's it can be quite intense.
The way I liken it is, you don't see a lot these days, but this is definitely showing my age. But back in the early 80s, the early 90s, when it was cool to put a present together with colored cellophane,
yeah.
This is where so if you were to take red cellophane and look through it, that's what it's going to look like.
That's essentially what you would look like. Yep.
And so, as for an autistic child or for a neurodivergent child, that makes sense that it could be completely overwhelming. So starting with something like an amber lens might be a great way to work up to getting to a red lens to that point. But I'm sure, and correct me if I'm wrong, you've got other products other than
absolutely, absolutely. We've got a whole lighting range, right? So again, the goal is to block the blue light in the evening, right? So if glasses aren't working, say for example, the child's doesn't like red lenses or even the amber lenses for that point, no colored lenses at all, don't like it, no worries at all. We have options to change out lighting. We've got blue light free lighting, and that's essentially we've got different amber and red colored lighting, which creates a really nice relaxing, calming, environment. Again, which is blue light free. So you're not, I mean, obviously if you had the TV on, that's still blue light coming from that. But again, you're maximizing, or you're minimizing, sorry, the amount of blue light you're being exposed to if you can change your overhead main lighting, or even just using like floor lamps and stuff like that. Yeah.
No, I love that so much. So obviously not all blue lenses, blue blockers are created equal. How do you know?
Unfortunately not.
No,
unfortunately not in the day and age we live in. Unfortunately not. But yeah, absolutely. And great question, because there's actually so many different options out there. It can be actually quite overwhelming to look at. You're just looking at heaps of different pictures and marketing things and gimmicky stuff and all that kind of stuff. So absolutely. What you want to do essentially is you want to be looking at like the specs for the glasses in terms of like the wavelengths that are being like blocked or filtered. That's essentially the main thing you need to look at, is wavelengths being blocked or filtered. You want to be, sorry, I've just got it down here. You want to be blocking between sort of the 400, 455 nanometers. So if it's not blocking or filtering that, then you're probably not, you probably want to look at something else, to be honest. But yeah, if a company's not showing not showing that data on their website, they might have something to hide potentially. We show like all our data like on the website from the graphs, like what they block, what they filter. So yeah, essentially you're just wanting to see that they're filtering or blocking those bright wavelengths depending on when you're using them, right? Like during the day, you still want some blue light to come through, which is why our daytime lenses only filter the blue light, whereas in the evening you actually want to block it. So yeah.
Because so just so that I've got it right, when we wear the blue blocker, especially the red ones, are we basically saying to our brain that, hey, it's getting close to nighttime, so we're going to try and increase melatonin? Is that the whole point of it?
100%. Yeah, 100%. You're wanting to increase that melatonin, and basically wearing the red lenses is telling to your brain, hey, yep, it's evening. We need to start preparing for sleep.
Yeah, it's a game changer. It's definitely been a game changer in our home,
Awesome.
and something that I will continue to do. And I'll also encourage parents. This is a big one, obviously right now, because flights are like bananas and no one seems to be going nowhere. But if you were to get on a flight, even if you were to go on an interstate flight or going overseas, take the blue blocker glasses with you, right? Because most of the time, especially if you're going up to Europe, you're leaving generally, not always, but generally you're leaving like a nighttime flight. And so, of course, your kids are going to be excited. They're going to be watching TV. They're going to be, playing games and all that sort of stuff. Wearing those blue blocker glasses. So like if they're going to fall asleep at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning because they've been so stimulated by what they've been watching and what they're playing, is so important.
100%.
So when we're going back to what we were saying about the starting with the lenses, which lens is it best to start with?
No, yeah, absolutely. Again, when you're looking at the different goals, if you're looking for daytime or nighttime, ideally you would want a lens for both, for a day and a night. Fully can appreciate that that's not ideal for everyone. So what we do say to people is if they are going to look to opt for one lens to begin with, if they're wanting to use it for both day and night, we tell them to opt for the yellow lens, because it obviously works effectively during the day and it's perfect for during the day. And at night, it has, how I was saying, it blocks that 100% of that certain blue light wavelength in the peak sort of. So that's handy in the evening as well. Obviously, it's not blocking out all the blue light, so it's not the best for the evening, but it's kind of a good universal one that you could use for like all day. But again, I would probably, if you weren't bothered about the day and you just wanted them purely for the evening, you would want to opt for an amber or the red. I would probably, how I was saying before, I would point people in the direction of an amber, unless they were a real handy, I'm a real intense biohacker. Just for the everyday person or person that's just, just finding out about this whole field now and just wants to try it. Amber lens, I think, is probably the ideal option because it's not so harsh in the evening, but it's still blocking 100% of blue light, which is the goal at the end of the day.
And I would even say, again, thinking out loud, and it's something that I've done with my kids in the past as well. Not all families can get out to a restaurant, right? Let's be honest. Some of our beautiful autistic children find it difficult to sit still. So most of the time, and I will put my hand up because my son is exactly the same. We're going out to a restaurant. We're making sure that we've got an iPad or an iPhone, right? The sun has gone down. Well, that doesn't negate the fact that they're out in public and they're not going to wear their red glasses. Like, put them on because we don't want that red light really coming in and ruining that sleep, because so many parents, Sam, I can't tell you how so many parents come to me and say that they're sleep deprived because their children cannot go to sleep, or they can't stay asleep. Or they're not going into a deep enough sleep to stay there and get that real quality REM. And so I just know, like I said, from personal experience, that when I have worn my glasses, I really go into that deep slumber. And on the days where I'm just like, maybe I'm too lazy to get up and get them, or like, that's why I generally keep them on my bedside table, because I know for a fact that
you're going to need them.
where I'm like, I'll watch the movie in the lounge room with the kids, and I haven't worn them, and that night the sleep is shocking. Shocking. And as I was saying to you before, which I have heard, Sam, I'm just going to be upfront with you. I'm at that stage now where we're like entering perimenopause and going into all this stuff, that a lot of my girlfriends are saying to me that they can't sleep. Now, I know that there are a lot of women in this group who are probably entering that phase of life. So that doesn't negate the fact that you shouldn't get a pair of blue blockers either. Like, that is something that I would seriously consider for you if you are not getting that great sleep. So it's not just for autistic individuals.
No, it can be for anyone. Absolutely. Yeah. Totally agree.
So anyone who's struggling with sleep. I love that it's struggling with migraines, because Mum, if you're listening, this is for you. I'll be getting you a pair of blue blockers because she suffers from migraines, right? So just making sure that we're supporting our bodies as best as we possibly can, because there's so much going on. And like I was saying to you off air before, autistic individuals are so vulnerable. They're so sensitive to what is going on in their body and the external forces that are coming at them. We want to do everything we can in order to really support them, their nervous system, what's happening, so that they can live a really awesome, amazing, thriving life. And I have found now that I can't, like, if I travel, I won't leave without the blue blockers. It's a non-negotiable, right? So hear me when I say this, and I don't often I will only share things like this if I've tried and tested them myself. And for these, I can tell you 100% they're amazing. So there's the spruik, because it is amazing.
No, awesome. Thank you for that. And we get a lot of feedback from people. It's literally the same. Like, I was very skeptical at the start. It's just a pair of glasses. What can it do? Until they actually try it themselves, and the results speak for themselves. So
100%. So obviously our community, especially adults or children, sometimes the idea of actually wearing glasses and having the feeling of wearing glasses can be really hard. Is there something else that we could use to be able to block the blue light? Does this come down to like the lights that you were talking about earlier in the episode?
Yeah, absolutely. So how I was saying, we have quite a vast range of lighting options, and from overhead main lighting to just portable rechargeable lighting. So there's a lot of options out there for people, because totally understand there are people that either don't like wearing glasses or just it's not comfortable for them. Can fully respect that. So we have overhead main lighting solutions. We actually have a bulb as well. It's called our BioLight bulb. And so how that works is it's kind of been designed by us that it can be used for any time of the day. So essentially the bulb has 3 built-in modes. It has the full spectrum daylight mode, which is kind of that, white light. Essentially it tries to mimic the same light that we get from the sun, right? So it's obviously not the same light that we get from the sun, but in terms of that color, it's that kind of that white energizing light that we want to be stimulated. The next mode is kind of late afternoon orangey amber glow, which you would kind of switch to as the sun was setting. It hasn't quite fully set, but it's in that process of going down. We get that orangey glow in the atmosphere when the sun's setting. And then once the sun has fully set, there's a third mode called the Sweet Dreams Amber mode. And that is essentially 100% blue light free, and the lighting we recommend to use once the sun is set right up till you're going to bed, because again, it's 100% blue light free, so you wouldn't need to wear glasses if you were using that lighting as your overhead lighting. You would just need to use glasses if you were direct on your phone, on an iPad, laptop, watching TV. So there's options there, either or, glasses, lighting, whichever you want, or a lot of people do, well, not a lot, but some people do both, right?
Yeah, I love that so much. This has been so informative. I know there's a lot of listeners that will want to find out more about the company. Where would they go to find out more about you?
Absolutely. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, BlockBlueLight, all one word will come up. Otherwise, yeah, if you just chuck us in Google, we'll also probably be there near the top. We have a honestly friendly customer service team willing to open to answer any questions. Yeah, so feel free to search us up, drop us a DM, drop us a message. If you have any questions at all, more than happy to answer them.
Amazing. And Sam, is there anything else that you wanted to add before we wrap up today's session?
Yeah, just if this is something that honestly you're thinking about, but you're just not sure because you're like, oh, is this just another gimmicky thing out there, or blah blah blah. You know, I'm a bit shy to these things. Honestly, I can say firsthand, and like how you've said yourself firsthand, you've tried the products and the results speak for themselves. And for anyone that is a bit bit standoffish, we have easy returns. If you don't like it, you can send it back if you don't like it. So
amazing. Thank you so much, Sam. Thank you. It's been very informative. And I know there's a lot of people that didn't know about blue blockers before that will now most definitely do some research on it. And hopefully it helps with our beautiful babies being able to go to sleep and stay asleep. And hopefully, because we all know sleep is so important and we don't function.
I've definitely taken that for granted as I've been growing up. I used to be told, sleep is probably one of the most important things because it has a flow-on effect. I'm like, whatever. But yeah, no, totally can appreciate that now.
It's so true. Sam, thank you so much for your time, and I will talk to you soon.
Awesome. Thank you, Natalie.
See you later.